Hey, my fellow coinaholics, Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Happy Easter. Uh, it's funny, every Easter I like to throw up a little bit of a video in the morning or middle afternoon or whatever. I don't know, it's been kind of like a little rite of passage here in the last few years. So, again, we have another one here. A really great kind of feel good story coming off of a recent sale of a new discovery, something that has never been found before. And this is a true testament that if you think everything has been found, think again. There is always going to be that one new piece of treasure that ends up getting discovered someplace. And we are going to talk about that one particular piece and kind of the harrowing just kind of like timeline of events that occurred from when it was first found to the ultimate sale. A few couple cliffhangers along the way. So the coin in question, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you that this particular coin sold for a lot of money, more than anyone could ever possibly imagine. And that's going to be this one right here. Let me go ahead and bring it up. $31,200. This is a 1943 Lincoln steel cent, a unique mirror brockage mint error, the first of its kind. And this particular coin has had quite a little bit of a history, And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the finer details and, kind of tell you the timeline of events regarding this coin here. But this was sold on Stack's Bowers auction galleries. And the sale was finalized last week sometime. All right, this was part of their 2024 spring auction sale. They actually had this coin up for, I believe, 30 days, if not maybe a little bit longer. And boy, is it something special. Now, this particular coin first came into prominence, in the community a while ago through the live coin Q&A email. And there were a few people in the team. You guys know them. We have Paula Bloom, who's kind of like one of the centerpieces for this particular conversation. Adam Chambers, Shannon Smith, Amanda, and then, everyone else. Okay, Shay, myself, I'm on there. Although I had nothing to do with this one, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about it. So Paula, actually, when she first saw this, she had an idea of what it was. Okay, and not thinking really that it was anything unique. Like, there's got to be more of these out there. There really isn't. This is the only one. And this one ended up coming in through email. This was, and the information is all in the listing. It was originally discovered by Carrie and Tracy Hoffman in Oklahoma. And, they had originally contacted us through the email. Or initially, the contact was made with Paula regarding a coin. So Paula kind of knew what it was, but needed more confirmation as far as kind of buttoning down if this was truly a genuine brockage mint error. We even highlighted it on one of our Monday live stream shows. And, I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, that looks to be a legitimate, first full mirror brockage. Incredible, So it was struck through a very, very, very early cap die. All right, so the die the coin had stuck to the die. All right, probably the first strike after thereof, and produced this wild looking coin here. So you can see this particular side of the coin is mirrored. Everything is just backwards. Whereas on the other side, it's a regular looking 1943 steel cent. Now the coin in condition, it looks to be fair enough that, it's straight grade. And sure enough, it ended up as a Mint-State 63 coin in a PCGS holder, which is fine and dandy. market acceptable. It's a coin in this condition that meets the requirements of a lot of the more discerning high-end clientele that particularly would want something like this. All right. This isn't your run-of-the-mill $20, $50, or $100 coin. This one far exceeds that. Now, other dates of mirror brockages, especially in the later dates, they typically command somewhere in that $500 to $1,000 range. So that kind of gives you guys an idea of the differentiation of one that we see on another date to this one here. And the reason why that this particular coin is so much more pursued and revered in its own right is because it's a 1 year type composition. It's a zinc coated steel. And even to this day, this particular coin has lived in the lore of being one of those head scratchers. Okay, if you don't know the history about how this coin came to be, then it's going to stump you. We've heard things like it sticks to a magnet, which it does because it's steel. All right. We've also heard things out there among the uneducated, like this one looks like it struck on aluminum or a silver planchet or things like that. So we've heard the whole run of different kind of beliefs about this coin and why it exists. But really deep down, through all the layers, a very easy explanation is that the U.S. Mint was rationing some of those key war metals, copper, nickel, and that's the big reason why that we saw the change in composition is to help ration those for the war efforts. So that in a nutshell is why the steel cent existed. Now going back to this particular coin, any mint error, and you've heard me talk about this before, any mint error that exists on a steel cent is kind of a big deal. It's like finding a mint error on a bicentennial quarter. That in itself is a big deal, because these two coins kind of represent, kind of a very unique flavor in what we could find out there in circulation in just a while today. Not necessarily going through change, but just having the ability to go through a collection and finding some of these one-shot, very unique pieces in an old album or folder or something like that, a 1 year type, that really cooks. Sure, they made millions, hundreds of millions of both the steel cents across Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but also, same with the bicentennial quarters. All right, they made quite a few of them in PED, and then they also had their own run of proof, 40% silvers, and things like that. But that's a completely different conversation for another day, because that opens up a whole new can of worms. So this particular coin ended up, not the coin itself, but the images were sent to resident error guru Joe Cronin, who's the author of one of my favorite books. I own a couple copies of Mint Errors to Die For. And he said, yeah, this looks to be, the real deal here. So the next steps, and this is kind of like where things kind of began to, communication-wise between Paula and the Hoffmans, things kind of like they didn't turn the way they expected to. The Hoffmans kind of wanted to do their own thing. They understood that they needed to grade the coin, which they did. Came back into 63 by PCGS. At some point after the grading had occurred and when they decided to consign with Stack's Bowers, they actually reached out to a renowned error dealer. And I'm going to leave the name out, for this particular case. And he made an incredible offer of $16,000. $16,000. Now, forget the fact that this coin, through it all, sold for $31,200. $16,000 when there's nothing else to compare it to. And the coin, as far as grade, is just marginally okay. It's still mint state. It's got some carbon spots and things like that. But overall, the coin was just a really nice example of something that we just don't see come out into the marketplace. So $16,000 offer to the Hoffmans, in exchange for the 43 Opris mirror Brockage. And the Hoffmans declined, you know. And it was from that point forward where things kind of like went a little sideways. The Hoffmans weren't communicating with the LiveCoin Q&A team, Paula especially. And, we were kind of under the impression like, what the heck's going on here? They're being a little short, standoffish with us, things like that. The $16,000 offer kind of made headlines. It went all throughout the community, and kind of like that fast reaction amongst most, if not all, the people was like, are they out of their freaking minds here? Because if it was anybody else, again, not knowing that this coin would sell for $31,000, a few months later or down the road, I would take that deal all day long. It releases the liability of me continuing to own this coin in the event something did happen, I lost it or what have you. And it's like you don't have to worry about a return if you sold it, through like an auction, like eBay or something like that. So that was kind of like there were a lot of things that kind of went around the community, and it was like, we hope we knew what the Hoffmans were doing, okay? And, as it turned out that there was a super great, happy ending to this whole thing, okay? They consigned it with Stack's Bowers, and this is the final sale here, $31,200. Now, the only thing that I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with Stack's Bowers and their consignment fees and things like that. Obviously they're going to have to pay something, I would imagine. I don't know what that number is. It's always like a percentage, whether it's like 7%, 12%. I really don't know. But still, at the end of the day, $16,000 was like ready right there for you from a prominent error dealer. And the error dealer had never seen one of these before. And they were like, well, I think I'm good. I'm going to go ahead and, keep it. And, I think there was a lot of influence with the husband. Apparently they're a team. And it's fine. It's like, but it was her that she was the one kind of like spearheading, the wife, spearheading the kind of like the transaction, the sale, reaching out to us and things like that. And, it's it's just one of those things. It's a lot of coin. It's a big deal. It's it's a breakthrough, and you gotta make sure you have all your ducks in a row. If it feels like that you could do better, by all means, just go ahead and stick to your intuition and just go about that. Which ended up working just fine. All right. So the coin was eventually found in a collection of other coins. Okay, which is a pretty miraculous kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that we all, long for, is to buy a collection and to find something that's truly unique. And I found a few of my pieces that way too. And it's really cool to see an example of a full mirror Brockage on a 1943 Steely. First time ever. $31,200 sale is an earth-shattering amount of money. Nearly 2 times what a public offer went for, and it's cool. All right, so if you guys want more information, it's on Stack's Bowers' website in the auction archives for this particular coin. There's a little bit more information about brockages, mint errors, and things like that. It was even covered in a January 23rd, 2024 Coin Week article. Which is also cool. Paula Bloom's name is also in there as well. We are on the LiveCoin Q&A. We're on every Monday night. We'll be back again this Monday. So that was the big one from the 2024 spring sale. Now, I do have one other coin I wanted to talk about just in passing. That's also quite unique. That's sold in tandem with this one, on the same day. And that's this undated two-tailed Roosevelt dime error. Okay, a muling of 2 dies with different finishes. So you probably had like a business strike finish, and then probably one Again, we don't have a date here. Probably this is the business strike side because it also shows die clashing, which is pretty cool. But also the reverse could possibly be either a special mint set reverse die or a proof reverse die. Kind of hard to say, but the hammer and anvil die are both Roosevelt dime reverses. And then one coin was struck. Now, this could be made in error. It could be intentional. It's really anybody's guess. This one ended up graded as Mint State 64 through PCGS, and it sold for $40,800. So, not a magician's coin. This one has the prerequisite kind of like really weak strike to it, which is something that you see on a mule pair of two reverse dies or two obverse dies. I've actually seen them both. And they're quite crazy. For me, I mean, me and my collecting kind of like desires and passions, this is something that really doesn't, get me all hot and bothered. It's just one of those coins it's cool to see exist. But it kind of makes you wonder, is this something that was intentional? It could have been. It's about 50-50 right there. And of course, this plays very, very evenly with the other mules that existed. The Sacagawea dollar muling with a state quarter reverse or obverse. I've seen them both. Those coins customarily sell for six figures, 100,000 and up. And this one right here, just a really cool little error here. And I can only imagine where this one was discovered. It might have been in a mint bag of Roosevelt dimes. Could be. I don't know. But anyone can speculate where this one came from. So that's kind of like your Easter, kind of like feel-good news. Congratulations to the Hoffmans. What a great sale. And what a great find, too. That's something that's definitely going to live in the lore of some of the coolest discoveries ever. So I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. I want you guys to have a nice Easter holiday if you guys are doing anything with that. I know we're going to do an egg hunt here later this afternoon with our little baby Blue. So that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the video if you haven't done so already. And thank you guys again for all your views and support. You guys have been tremendous. Well, I am out of here. You guys take care. And I'll see you on the next coin video. So long.